Hello, Captains, and welcome to some Star Trek Online news. It's been quite a while since I've updated with some brand new Star Trek Online news information. Some of this news goes back a little ways, but it's time to play catch-up and talk about new Star Trek news, especially as it relates to what is coming this fall with the Discovery update. So, let's just dive into this. First thing that I'm going to talk about is, and this is from, of course, the main Star Trek Online webpage, is the streamlining of the mission journal. This is going to happen in the fall update, the Age of Discovery update. I have no idea when that update is landing, but it is this fall. Now, I actually have made, prior to this video, a special side-by-side comparison video of this streamlining of the mission journal video. So after this news video publishes, I am going to post another video. It's about 50 minutes long, and it's going to show you side-by-side how the new mission journal looks on Tribble versus what it is currently on Holodeck. That way you can see what it's going to look like, what the changes are, what the missing missions are, because yes, they are removing missions, and so forth. So that's going to be a special video. I was able to make that very cool that I was able to do that, and I tried something new and it worked. And it didn't crash on me, so that's good. And so I'm going to show that after this video, but let's talk about what this is. So in the Age of Discovery update, it says, we've chosen to work on updating our story experience with a special focus on some of our oldest missions. Our new content from Victory is Life, Age of Discovery, and other recent updates has brought us fantastic environments and distinctively different content, and we want to bring up the quality of our older material to match. The first thing we've done is to rework the flow of the mission journal. Instead of making every mission part of the story, we've decided to focus the story on principal narrative arcs of the struggles of the various galactic powers. Some of our older side missions are no longer in the journal proper. You can still find these missions in the galaxy at large, but they're not part of the directed journal experience. We've taken out the Wasteland, Spectres, Breen Invasion, and the 2800/Lost Dominion mission groups in this fashion, so you can still play them, you just won't be sent directly to them as part of the leveling process. So in my video you're going to watch after this, I mentioned, are these missions, I asked the question, are these missions still going to be playable in the game because they're not in the mission journal? And it says right here they will be. However, at least on Tribble for right now, they were not. I went to those locations and I could not start those missions. So I guess maybe that'll be a later update. So just kind of note that when you watch the video, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, what it is those are 5-part or 5-episode featured series is what they were called. They had this time in the past where Cryptic had these 5-episode featured series that they would launch at a time, like a 5-episode story arc. And it seems they are removing that now from the game. And I think, or at least not the game, I should say, from the mission journal. And I think that's a big mistake. An absolutely huge mistake. Because if you're a new player to the game, how would you know they exist? You would not. And it's going to be probably very hard to find them in the game if they're not listed in the mission journal. At least somewhere. You just wouldn't know that they exist. You wouldn't know you could go to Nimbus Beam Down and have a whole series of missions there. You would have no idea if you are brand new to the game. So how else do you find things but through the mission journal? And in my video that you're going to watch after this, I noted that maybe they should add another tab next to the main tab of the missions and call it an optionals tab. And then relist all of these missions there along with all the patrols that they also removed a long time ago. List all of those on that tab so people at least know they exist. And call it optionals because people know what optionals mean in a game. It means you don't have to play it for the main story arc, but it's there for extra XP and rewards. Because that brings up another question. How do you get the rewards that were in these missions? The Breen Invasion story arc, for example, it holds a space set. So does the 2800. It holds the Jem'Hadar space set. There are rewards and stuff in these things that are good. Spectres also has some cool things. It's got that Type 3 Federation phaser that I really like, and that's in the Spectres playthrough. So these things being removed from the mission journal, how are you going to know they're there if you've never played the game before? So I got a real problem with that. It says, secondly, we've updated the Klingon War for Federation characters. Since this is the earliest content that most Federation characters encounter, we wanted to focus on missions that told a tight story of the Federation in 2409, and on how that story is entangled with shapeshifter infiltration of governments, an infiltration that in turn sparked the entire conflict involving the Gorn, the Klingons, and the Federation. We've done some light polish work on several of the Klingon War episodes, including Stranded in Space, Diplomatic Orders, Researcher Rescue, Secret Orders, and Doomsday Device. All of these episodes have received some updates, whether in the form of new visual effects, new characters, streamlining of difficult spots, or even just squashing little bugs. Okay, that's cool. Adding things, improving things, that is good. That's what we want to see. We don't want to see things removed or reduced. We want to see, we want to see things added and made better. Thirdly, we've taken out several of the Klingon War missions while we work on improving them too. So here we go backwards again. We're taking content out of the game. We want to give those missions the polish that will make them better in the form of updated environments, streamlined gameplay, and a solid story. Since we can't leave these missions in play while they're under construction, we've removed them from now. Okay, well that gives me hope then. So when you watch my video where I go over these missions, I talk a lot about removing those missions and how angry I am about that. At least what I'm seeing here is that they are going to put those missions back in, but they're just waiting until they streamline them and update them. Okay, I'm on board with that. I'm totally on board with that. So when you watch my video, just understand I didn't know that information when I made that video. But now that I know that, that makes me feel a little bit better, because they have removed on Tribble a ton of the Klingon story arc missions, and that really angered me. So I didn't have that information when I made that video. Now I do. Now I know that, so it makes me feel a little bit better, and I do hope they all get put back in there. Finally, you'll notice a few new missions in the journal that are task force operation missions. These missions direct your characters to participate in various task force operations like Romulan Imperial Minefield or Khitomer Accord. When your captain accepts or completes one of these missions, it unlocks that TFO for the captain, so you can play some of the TFOs at lower levels now. Don't worry if you're a veteran though, you still have access to TFOs when you reach level 50, even if you didn't complete the handoff missions. We hope you enjoy the new content coming with Age of Discovery, and there's more still to come. Keep your eye out for notifications as we continue to add new missions or remastered older missions back into the flow. So that's the gist of it. And like I said, I've got a special video showing those differences on Tribble. And just keep in mind, what you see on Tribble can and probably will change when it comes to Holodeck, which is the release server where everybody plays on, the final, the server that everybody plays on. Tribble is just a test server. So just keep in mind what you're about to see in my 50-minute video I will publish after this will probably change. And there was information I did not know when I made that video that now I know. So some of my anger has been a little bit reversed, but there is still the fact that they have removed the featured episode series, Wasteland, Spectres, Breen Invasion, the 2800, and I still have a problem with that. I think those should be part of it. I really, really think those should be part of it. I don't see why they need to be removed. Their story arcs were great. The story arcs in those were great, and it does match with all the other Galactic Power story arcs. So I don't understand removing them from the mission journal. Put them back, but put them back in an optionals tab so people know that they're there. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm a little miffed about that, as you can tell. And you'll find that out when you watch that other video too. Alright, let's move on because there's a lot of news to cover here. Let's go to the Ascend to a New Level of Reputation. So yeah, we're getting Tier 6 reputations. Tier 6 reputations. Right now they max out at Tier 5. We're excited to announce a new addition to our reputation system with Tier 6. With the new tier comes new powerful and useful rewards. Our Tier 6 additions focused on expanding on an already extensive number of options for captains. Things such as alternate energy type weapons, new vanity shield coloration options, and improved reputation traits are some of the rewards. We didn't want to just give power and variety, though. With the release of Tier 6, we will also be streamlining the process of reputation sponsorship. Reaching Tier 5 of any reputation will now automatically sponsor that reputation for your account. Now that I love. I'm on board for that. It's always been so annoying on each character when I max out a reputation to go and create a sponsorship and then go back to that other character and add the sponsorship and do that. That's always been a little bit annoying. So I'm glad that it will automatically open on the account for all reputations. That's awesome for that type of reputation. That's not all, though. For every Tier 6 reputation that a player achieves, they will be able to claim a fleet ship module and a retrain token. We didn't want to give all those options without making it easier to try new things out. Thank you for that. Fleet ship modules, always expensive to get. So it's cool. They're giving out one free fleet ship module. That's great. And then a retrain token. That's also very welcomed. Reaching Tier 6 will get you improved traits, increase the effectiveness of each trait, improved set weapon damage, increase the damage inflicted by reputation set weapons, and social zone ability. Brag to your friends about your progress by activating a new ability that displays dramatic visual effects for each Tier 6 reputation you have achieved. So now you can taunt your friends or everybody in zone chat that you have achieved Tier 6 reputation. That's interesting that they are promoting that kind of boasting in the game. There will also be a new Tier 6 reputation project available in each reputation to obtain additional rewards. Account-wide reputation gear discount. Reduce the project cost for all future reputation gear projects for every character on your account. Alternate energy types. Obtain new energy type variants. Phaser, disruptor, etc. for each set weapon. Alternate vanity shield visuals. Obtain new color-tinted variants of your favorite existing shield visuals. I like that because that helps make your ships just a little bit more unique. And if we can do that in the game, that is definitely welcome, to have more unique-looking ships so that people can, develop their own ships the way they want them. Premium items. Once per character, you may claim a fleet ship module and captain skill retrain token per reputation that you get to Tier 6. So per reputation. So if you get... Now, how many reputations do we have in this game? We've got like 9 or something. There's a lot there, right? So just imagine, if you get each one to Tier 6, it sounds like you can claim it for each reputation. Per reputation. Yeah, it says per reputation. So that is however many reputations there are of fleet modules and retrain tokens. Now that's useful because that can help us get like fleet ships and stuff like that. That's going to be really nice right there to get those fleet ship modules per reputation. Okay, I like that. That is awesome. In addition to all of these rewards, the reputation UI will be undergoing improvements to make it clearer to understand and display the information you need. So they're improving the UI. That's cool too. We hope you enjoy the new rewards that come with Tier 6. So there you go. That is just one way that they are expanding the game a little bit. I mean, they already brought us the reputation system a long time ago, and they just, up until now, they've just been keep adding and adding and adding new reputations, and it seems that, they've kind of hit a limit on that now. It's like, how many more can you really have? It's just gets to a point where it's too much. So what can they do? Well, they can expand the tier that you can upgrade the reputation in, and that's what they're doing. More grinding, absolutely more grinding, but don't kid yourself. This game is a grinding game. That's just the way it is. And so there you go. Tier 6 rewards. I do like the fleet ship module rewards for Tier 6 rep. That's going to be real nice. Okay, so let's keep going. The random task force operations. By now you've probably heard of this before. This is the new way that you're going to do what were called STFs. They were called Starfleet Task Force Operations, I guess, STF, and it's still a TF, but now it's an RTF, Random Task Force Operations. And so basically, I have read about this already, but what you're going to be able to do is like queue up for these quote STFs, basically, and it's going to randomly plop you into different ones. And it's a way that they're going to help try to populate the old reputation or the old STFs that people aren't playing anymore. Like you'll notice when you go to a lot of the SDFs that you may want to play, there's just nobody playing them, especially ground ones. It is so hard. Like I used to love Kitamura Accord runs in the past or Cure runs in the past. I mean, it was fun. There was a time when RMEC was difficult. There really was. But I loved those runs back then. And I loved those ground runs, those long ground runs. And we had so much fun. And then they got a lot easier and a lot quicker. But now people just don't even play them anymore. And you know what? That's kind of sad because I really did enjoy them. And I want that fun back. I want that fun back. Maybe this will help. Maybe this will help populate them and people will be playing them more now. Because it's going to randomly plop you into one and you're going to have to play it with your team. Now you can still choose to play what you want to play. But this is just an extra way to do something random that you might not expect. And apparently the rewards will be changing so that you have a choice of rewards for everyone. So it will make it beneficial to just play anything because you can choose what rewards you want. When Star Trek Online enters the Age of Discovery, we will be introducing a whole new method of interacting with the PvE group content available to players. Alongside the new functionality we will discuss in this blog, we have decided to retire the rather bland moniker of Q to describe our PvE group content. Instead, we are going to begin calling them by the term Task Force Operations or Task Force Ops or TFOs. This update to the terminology is meant to relay context for how this content exists within the world of Star Trek Online, making it more obvious that the captains you are playing are participating in actual in-world activities, skirmishes, strike teams, defense maneuvers, simulations, and more. We also hope that this rebranding may generate a greater sense of excitement and engagement that was evoked by the old term. After all, a queue in the real world is just a line of something, and that something is frequently a chore. When was the last time going to a bank or DMV was something you got excited about? We certainly hope that playing Star Trek Online is more exciting and enjoyable in that its naming convention should reflect that. The act of opting in to participants in a TFO will still be referred to as queuing or matching, as this renaming effort is only on the content itself and not on the act of getting to it. As an added bonus, by adopting the new terminology, you can now proclaim that you have defeated Q. Get it? Oh, that's lame. That's a lame joke. Alright, random task force operations. Have you longed for a greater sense of variety in your daily dose of Star Trek Online? Do you ever want to log into the game and just play without feeling picky? Have you ever wanted to participate in a forgotten piece of older content but found the prospect of forming a team cumbersome, if not downright impossible? Yes, that last one. Absolutely that last one. Captains, have we got the system for you? That sounds like a car salesman already. With Season 15, so they're calling it Season 15, okay. Season 15, we are introducing new features called TFOs. Entering into a random task force operation will be as easy as clicking a single button, located prominently within the PvE group content interface. Options will exist to opt into normal difficulty or advanced, allowing players some customization for the type of group content they want to opt into experiencing. Aside from this choice of difficulty, the random TFO system asks players to kick back and embrace the whims of fate, as they are whisked away to one of our many TFOs chosen on their behalf. So that's that random part of it. It just plops you into something random. Once opted into the random system, players are first matched up with unfilled TFOs that other players have manually selected on a first-come, first-served basis. If no manually selected TFOs are awaiting more players, the random TFO system will select one from the list of eligible content and begin filling that instead. In this way, we hope to see many TFOs that players find difficult to fill under the current system suddenly bustling again as players opting into random TFOs are teamed up alongside enterprising players seeking a wider variety of content. The thrill of discovery is everywhere, as you won't know which content you're about to experience until you've arrived and are ready to conquer the task set before you. Each set of randoms, normal and advanced, include matches from both space and ground, so be sure that both your ship and captain are fully equipped and ready before you take the plunge. So that's one problem I see with this, because if you are not ready on the ground or space and you're plopped into one of those space to ground missions, you might not be ready to actually play it very well. So make sure, if you do the random system thing, you are geared up on ground and space and ready on both fronts. You may participate in random TFOs without any cooldown or lockout period, immediately re-entering a new one after the previous TFO is completed. Individual matches will still have their own existing cooldown timers, so you can't end up in the same TFO back-to-back. AFK and lever penalty lockouts also exist and apply to random activity as normal. Not every TFO in the game will be available via the random system. No, okay, so that's interesting. I didn't know not all of them will be. The exclusions include PvP matches, shuttle matches. Now, shuttle matches, it makes sense because you have to be in a shuttle for that. Competitive PvEVP matches, Gamma Battle Zone matches, limited timing matches, and 10-plus person matches. Additional exclusions may be made on a case-by-case basis. While we don't intend on publishing a complete list of what is and not included, we feel confident in saying that only content that meets the standards of our modern players will be able for random matchmaking. Why not release a list? That doesn't make sense. We hope to ensure that sacrificing the element of choice when player group content will always feel exciting and rewarding. Okay. Whew, this is a long one. Of course, no experience like this would be complete without offering an incentive. Completing a TFO via the random system will grant bonus rewards in addition to whatever the TFO itself rewards. These rewards are granted immediately upon success, and there is no limit to the number of times that you can receive them. Each bonus reward comes in a bundle that contains both an amount of marks of your choice and dilithium ore. The amount rewarded is greater if you are fortunate enough to earn the rarer tiers of rewards. The bonus rewards for completing a random TFO are different depending upon whether you completed one on normal or difficult, or advanced. Well, normal or advanced. Within each of these separate reward categories, there is also a range of potential prize amounts, allowing each random TFO completion the potential to feel like a major windfall just for playing the same content you've already come to appreciate. And there's a chart, choice of marks that you get, and dilithium ore, common, uncommon, rare, very rare, ultra rare, epic. Random TFO reward bundles cannot be traded. They are bound to the character. The random TFO system will be appearing on Tribble Test Server very soon, and I believe it is actually there now. In order to ensure that the best possible experience is put in the hands of captains, they want our feedback. So that's the gist of this new random thing. Now, what do I have to say about this? I like it, and here's why. Because I think it's going to help fill this problem that we've had for years now, where past or older STFs, people aren't playing, and it's so hard to queue up for one of them. Like, you could sit in a queue all day long and it never pop because it's just an older one that people aren't playing anymore. That's terrible. And I think this is their way of answering that. This is their way of trying to fix it. So let's see what happens. Let's see if it works or not. I'm all for it because it's all optional, right? You don't have to play the random operations if you don't want to. You can still queue up the old way. You can just queue up for whatever you want to play. But if you want to, give it a chance, hit the random thing. And the incentive is you're going to have bonus rewards and a choice of marks. And you get to play some content that you may actually find fun. So I'm looking forward to that. I want to see how that works. All right, they also announced a Recon Destroyer bundle. This came out a little while ago. We've got the New Orleans class, updated 25th century to the Lafayette class and the Klingon Empire's Ketha class Recon Raptor. These are now available in the C store. In these trying times, constant conflict and ever-present hostility have made exploration and reconnaissance at the edges of the frontier an even more dangerous endeavor than normal. The Recon Destroyer has been designed in response to this galactic atmosphere, providing a distinct combat focus to a ship that is otherwise dedicated to scientific study and intelligence gathering. So the Lafayette class is a modern redesign of the New Orleans class, which first came into service in the mid-2300s. So that's what it is. It provides a middle ground between the toughness of a cruiser and the maneuverability and firepower of an escort. It can mount heavy cannons with an experimental weapon and comes equipped with the powerful, hyper-focusing trinary arrays console. You can read about, I'm not going to go over all this information here. This has been out for a little while now, But you can read about the design of it here if you'd like to come to this page. And then here's the Klingon version of that ship as well. Again, you can come to this page on StarTrekOnline.com and read all about that. Here's the stats on the ships. We'll just quickly look at them. Looks like a 36,000 hull at level 60, shield modifier 1.2, 4 forward weapons, 3 aft, an ensign tactical, commander tactical, lieutenant engineering, lieutenant commander science, lieutenant commander universal. So it does have a commander tactical. So there's your heavy escort focus on bridge officer powers. It's got 4 tactical, 2 engineering, 4 science. So divided evenly between tactical and science consoles there, but very light on engineering. Base turn rate 14 plus 10 to auxiliary and weapons. So yeah, it's a hybrid escort science. It's a hybrid escort science, which is very interesting. And it can use cannons too. Now it is using the destroyer ability package. So there you go, destroyer. And then there's a fleet version of it that has an improved hull strength and improved shield modifier. 39, 6,000. And 1.32 shield modifier. That's the fleet version. Now both of these have the hyper-focusing trinary arrays. This technology was conceived as a hyper-accurate long-range scanning device capable of dissecting quantum data from distances previously unheard of. However, once prototyping began, it quickly became evident that the trinary emitter beams used to scan and receive such data caused irreparable damage to matter caught in the crossfire. This console, while these compounded issues resulted in the scatter functionality of the device being abandoned, okay, this console mod can be equipped, so I guess it just damages whatever is in its target. And then it's got a starship trait. While this trait is active, defeating enemies or healing allies will grant you 1 stack of jubilant cadence, a maximum of once every 4 seconds, which lasts until your combat defeated. A large boost to speed and turn rate is what that one does. So that's some new ships that had come out that we didn't cover, but there they are. There's also another new ship. Now this one I'm really interested in. This is the basically it's a Tier 6 Enterprise C. It's a Tier 6 Ambassador class support cruiser, as it's called. I'm not going to read all the background on it. You can come here and read all the background on it. But it is, they're calling it the Narendra class, I guess, because of, or the Narendra because of that, because of the battle where the Enterprise C went down. You can come and read a lot about it here, but let's look at the specs here on this page. Now, it's a temporal operative ship. I find that a little weird because it doesn't feel like that ship should have any temporal abilities. But it does. It's going to have the temporal operative ability, that molecular reconstruction ability, which is it's got a defensive, offensive support, and deconstruction beam. You can put it into whatever mode and use that beam. All temporal operative ships have that ability, and it's all the same on every temporal operative ship. And this one has that, so it's basically just an extra weapon. It can do pretty good damage, actually. But I don't know why this ship has it. It just doesn't feel like it should have that kind of ability. Being based on a, earlier 24th century ship and all that. But here's the specs on it. Anyway, I love the looks of it. We'll go over that in a second. Here's the specs on it. 54,000 hull at level 60. 1.0 shield modifier, 4 fore and 4 aft weapons, 1 ensign tactical, 1 lieutenant tactical, 1 commander engineering / temporal operative. So it even has a temporal operative seating on it. 1 lieutenant commander science, 1 lieutenant commander universal. So very engineering focused, very cruiser focused. However, it does have a temporal operative seating for temporal bridge officer abilities, plus the molecular reconstruction temporal beam thing. So I don't know why it has these temporal abilities, tacked onto it. It just doesn't feel like it should. I guess only because it traveled through time accidentally, and now it has to have temporal abilities. That's kind of dumb. Base turn rate of 7, so it turns kind of slow. Impulse modifier 0.15, inertia 40, plus 5 to all power. And the console is also temporally based. It's got a temporal trajectory shifter. I mean, I don't think it should have those kind of abilities. A cruiser ability package and a full cruiser communications array as well on it. Now, the looks of it are absolutely incredible. I mean, it just shows that classic design of a large saucer, the what do you call it, below the saucer, you know, that thing, this area here. There's a name for this area, and it's totally eluding me, but you know what I'm talking about. And then the way the nacelles shoot off either up or on the side and shoot up above, you know, real high and everything. That classic, it's a classic Star Trek design. Look at that profile. This profile says it all. It works. This shows why the classic Star Trek ship design works. And when you deviate from that, it can fail real miserably, because just look how beautiful that looks. It is just, I mean, I cannot tell you just how, you know, how good that is. Just how Star Trek that is. It is perfect. That profile is beautiful. It's a beautiful ship. And then there's a Klingon variant as well. So yeah, it's got a temporal trajectory shifter. Manipulating localized space-time allows the complex technology to shift the chronometric energies from one starship's continuity to another. The process is explained in layman's terms as stealing time from the target. By redirecting temporal energies, they become slower while you become faster. These energies translate as a reduction to the foe's weapon firing speed, agility recharges, and defense ratings, while those same aspects of your own starship are increased. And it also provides a passive boost to defense and scientific readiness skill. So a temporal ability that, I guess, steals their powers and reduces their powers and improves your powers. It improves your firing speed and defense and ability recharges. Okay, sure, why not? Doesn't make sense, but there you go. Prolonged conflicts become more desperate and more heroic. It's got this history will remember trait. As time wears on, and only those ships and crews with the fortitude to withstand such onslaughts are remembered in the annals of history. With this trait slotted, each foe that damages you will grant you a stack of history will remember, which imparts increased weapon damage, hull capacity, and hull regeneration. Each foe only counts for a single stack, no matter how many times they damage you. Each stack will last until you leave the map. Now that's cool. And you may have up to 30 stacks maximum. So for the duration of the playthrough, you could have this like history will remember stack. That's really cool. So that's improved weapon damage and hull capacity and hull regeneration. Now that trait I like. I have to have that trait on like every ship, right? I mean, that's a cool trait right there. History will remember. I want this ship just for that trait alone. That's an awesome trait. But the ship itself just looks good, and it is a ship I want to fly and review. So expect a review of this ship in the future, because I love this ship. Even though I don't agree with the temporal abilities of it, I still like the ship, and I want to try it out so bad. It looks so good. It's simple. It's Enterprise C, Ambassador class. You can see it in it with an amalgamation of Enterprise D, you know, like getting to the D, what the D would look like. It's just so beautiful and simple. And it just shows how that design, J.J. Abrams screwed it up with the design of the Enterprise in the 2009 reboot. When you keep it simple, the KISS, keep it simple, stupid. When you keep it simple, it just looks and works so good. And it works in Star Trek really good. It just looks good. That design cannot be beat. And when you try to beat it, you're gonna fail. The Defense of Starbase 1. The Defense of Starbase 1 will be a new task force operation, playable by all factions, launched with Age of Discovery. You'll face several waves of increasingly difficult Klingon ships and have to defend escaping civilians. Win to earn a choice of mark boxes and more. So there you go. That's going to be a new task force operation. Okie dokie. So that's all the news. That's the major news. And yeah, a lot of stuff there. Streamlining of the mission journal, which I'm going to have a video about. New reputation tier. Random task force operations coming. You can, get into a random ones. New ships that are available now. New task force operations themselves are coming with Starbase 1. And that's the news. We are now caught up. It is getting on here close to October, and I do not know when this is all going to hit. I've heard it called the Age of Discovery update, and I've heard mention now of Season 15. Are they one and the same? Are they two separate updates? Are they coming at the same time, or will they be at separate times? And when is that time? Are all questions I have no answers to. So we'll just have to see moving forward what happens this fall with these updates. But now you know some of the things to expect coming up. And as usual, I will review, I will make videos of, and explore all of these new things, all of them. All you have to do, and I'm starting to lose my voice here, all you have to do, subscribe, hit the notification bell to get those updates, and you will see that content when it becomes available in Star Trek Online, because I will definitely be covering it. So, subscribe to see all that new stuff. And look forward to that very, very cool comparison I'm going to be showing with the mission journal coming up here soon. And just know there was some information I didn't have when I made it that now I do have. So just keep that in mind when you watch that. But it's still pretty much the same general gist of it. I wish they would put those missions or list them in a separate tab so that people would know they're there. Otherwise, just taking them out, people are not going to know those missions even exist. Especially new people to the game. That's my beef with it. And also, I don't see the point in removing them anyway because I thought it was a great part of the storyline. But what do I know? What do I know? I'm just a gamer. I'm just a player of the game, I'm just one of their end users, one of their players, gamers. Maybe they should start asking us what we want out of the game, because it seems they like to do what they want, thinking they know what we want. But that doesn't always jive. It doesn't come together, does it? Sometimes what they want and what we want differ. Maybe they need to start asking us what we want. And going from there. Wouldn't that be a concept? Thank you all for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.